Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about the Boston Red Sox, and regrettably talking about the Boston Red Sox because the Red Sox absolutely stink right now. And I'm gonna just try to bring up some points on why the Red Sox stink, and it's just been a dumpster fire of a start to the season. There's some good things I can say about this team, but there's a lot more bad I can say about this team as well. Some of the stuff is drama filled, some of the stuff is on the field, off the field, and it's just a plethora of things. We're going to dive into it today in this video. The Red Sox are sitting in 4th place right now, 29-33, and a 7-6 game against the Angels. And I'm going to dive into that game as well as of June 2nd. Really would appreciate you guys showing support on the video and also showing support at Vendetta Media, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also going to check out VendettaSportsMedia.com to stay up to date with all your favorite sports. The NBA Finals is going to be kicking off this week. MLB, of course, is in full swing. We got a lot of great content on VendettaSportsMedia.com, so be sure to go check that out. And also put down in the comments you guys' thoughts and opinions about the Red Sox currently. Now, the Boston Red Sox came into the season with a lot heftier expectations than the last couple of years. The last few years, the Red Sox have had a few last place finishes, and pretty much outside of overachieving in that 2021 season where they made it to the ALCS, albeit a very, very fun season if I do say so myself. Other than that, the Red Sox haven't really made any sort of headway when it comes to long-term success throughout the course of the 2020s. And this season's kind of started on a bit of a whimper at first. The Red Sox did what they needed to do. They got some reinforcements and got some upgrades at some positions of need. They traded for Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet has been everything the Red Sox have been asking for. There was a lot of concern with Garrett Crochet in terms of him being a long-term starter. He's been the ace that the Red Sox have needed, and he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, not just in the American League. As of the time of recording, he's leading the league in strikeouts with 101. He leads the majors with 82 innings pitched so far into the season, and his ERA is still under 2 at 1.98. Just this past weekend against the Braves, he went 7 innings, struck out 12, and only allowed 1 run against a Atlanta Braves offense that featured Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, Sean Murphy, just to name a few of those mainstays over there. Crochet was absolutely the right move in the fact that they were able to extend him. He's the Red Sox ace for the next handful of years. Garrett Crochet hasn't been the problem. That brings me to my first point, and it's the inconsistent starting pitching. Outside of Garrett Crochet, who's going to be your Cy Young candidate, outside of Garrett Crochet, there really hasn't been anybody else who's been consistent on the mound. Let's look at the guy who was supposed to be the number 2 for the Red Sox this year, and Tanner Houck, who had himself a tremendous first half of the season last year. I always go back to this one instance in the All-Star game when he gave up an absolute nuke to Shohei Ohtani, and from that point forward he was awful. And going into this season, hoping to get back to where he was at this point last year, where he was the Red Sox's best pitcher. Just to name a couple of these starts, he gave up 12 runs to the Rays. He's given up 11 runs to the Tigers. He's been absolutely getting his ass handed to him on a silver platter. And now he's on the IL, and you're kind of hoping that he gets back to where he was. But at that point, you're kind of just hoping he gets back to being a competent starting pitcher. It sucks for someone like in Tanner Houck's situation where off and on being a reliever and a starter, and he was the Red Sox's closer at one point. Inconsistencies in terms of finding any sort of stability in that Red Sox's pitching staff. And then he becomes the Red Sox ace for a short period of time last year. Brian Bale's been fine. Richard Fitz, he got his ass handed to him against the Angels tonight. He didn't even get out of the first inning, giving up 6 runs, and the Red Sox lose. They used Sean Newcomb for a little while until they traded him to the A's. Hunter Dobbins has been somewhat of a bright spot, but now he's kind of going to be a spot starter now that the Red Sox are starting to get some guys back. Walker Buehler, he's kind of been off and on. Lucas Giolito, he has a good start and then gets shelled. All those guys I mentioned have had decent starts and have had horrible starts. You're not going to have Garrett Crochet pitching for the Red Sox every single day. And while it's great that you brought someone in like Crochet to spearhead that rotation, you need to get supplemental pieces and find great pitching behind him. And not to mention that the bullpen has been being overworked like crazy, because some of these blow-up starts result in the Red Sox emptying out the bullpens or the Red Sox pulling guys early and putting that extra strain on guys like Bernardino, Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Weiser, and just to name a few. While some pitchers like Bernardino have been able to be fantastic, there's been other guys like a returning Liam Hendricks who hasn't gotten his legs under him, and to this point has been a shell of himself. And it always brings me back to when I was talking about the Red Sox in the offseason and having all that hope, all that positivity going towards this team. And it's just the point now where it's at a low point. And the Red Sox, although they're in fourth, they're only a handful of games outside of a wild card spot, as well as being able to compete inside the AL East division. It's no secret, and it's not a hot take to say that the Red Sox have been underwhelming this year. It's a shame with how bipolar the pitching staff can be at times. It really puts a lot of pressure when the pitching staff gets shelled like they do at times during the course of the season, that the offense has to be able to produce. And this has been a running problem for the Red Sox for the last handful of years, because you would think, just like tonight, the Red Sox put up 6 runs in a 1-run loss to the Angels. Any baseball fan could tell you 6 runs should be more than enough to win an MLB game. And it seems like how the Red Sox have been playing from behind almost every single time they're out there. You can't bank on the offense to be able to bail out the pitching staff more often than not. They're 29-33 as of the making of this video. An important stat to keep in mind is that the Red Sox are 6-16 in 1-run games. They can get so close more often than not. The Red Sox have just not been able to fully commit to the comeback. And obviously it was a stat like this that affected the Padres a couple of years ago when they really struggled trying to win close games. And that separates the playoff teams from the non-playoff teams, and the division winners from the non-division winners, is being able to win and being able to make plays when it matters most. And speaking of the offense, let's talk about the offense for a little. The offense has a lot of bright spots. Alex Bregman, his first season with the Red Sox has been fantastic. He's been an MVP candidate. Everything we said about Alex Bregman when it came to coming to Boston was true, and I will go on record in admitting, even though I didn't want to bring in Alex Bregman to the price tag he was asking for in free agency, bringing in Alex Bregman has been a godsend for the Red Sox offensively and defensively, being able to take over at third base and allowing Rafael Devers just to strictly DH. Rafael Devers just came off a tremendous month of May, as I might add, and he really came a long way from his horrible start of the 2025 season. And obviously you got mainstays like Jarren Duran. Christian Campbell has had his spots, but while I'll talk about guys like Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman, there has to be the other side of that coin, which is injuries and just inconsistent play. Trevor Story, for example, started off the season red hot, and now he has been one of the worst hitters statistically in baseball, even though he came off a hot series against the Braves. So hopefully he's on the upswing again. Alex Bregman's been out with a quad injury, and they called it a significant quad injury, which prompted the promotion of Red Sox prospect Marcelo Meyer, and still awaiting the arrival of Roman Anthony. But other notable injuries, Justin Slayton, he's been out, and the Red Sox look at him as one of their higher leverage arms. Masataka Yoshida is still yet to suit up for the Red Sox this season. And Tristan Casas out for the season with a knee injury. And someone like Casas was supposed to be one of your anchors offensively alongside Devers and Bregman. And even before Casas went down, he was horrible. That's kind of been the biggest problem with the Red Sox, is just the one word I would use is inconsistent. Inconsistent pitching. They're inconsistent at the plate. They're inconsistent on defense. And for Red Sox fans, they were sold on the idea that the Red Sox were going to be competitive. Now, although it's only been about 2 months worth of the season, it's still a long ways to go, and teams have been in worse positions and have made it all the way to the World Series and won. But the inconsistency of the Red Sox has even gone all the way up into the front office. And I'm talking about the Rafael Devers situation that's been in the news again recently, especially with Bregman and Casas going down to injury. Let's do a little streamlined version of this Rafael Devers saga. When the Red Sox brought in Alex Bregman, or even before they brought in Alex Bregman, the idea was for Alex Bregman to play second base and keep Rafael Devers at third. As you and I both know, Rafael Devers is not a good defensive third baseman. Many will even say he has stone hands, or he's probably the worst defensive third baseman they've ever seen. Is that being harsh? You guys tell me. But obviously many people will assume it would just make a whole lot more sense to have Rafael Devers, who you signed to a massive extension because of his bat, to strictly play designated hitter. They bring in Bregman, and then a little bit of time goes by. Come on and say Alex Bregman's going to play third. Obviously, this doesn't go well with Rafael Devers. Stuff about, is he going to request a trade? He's angry, and now there's a divide between him and the front office. And obviously, it didn't help with him going ice cold to start the season. And then Tristan Casas goes down. There's the news that the Red Sox may be looking to put Rafael Devers at first base. after seemingly not wanting to move off third base, going to play DH like you asked him to. Now you want him to instead, even though you already told him you're not picking up a glove at all this season, to learn first base. And obviously he had his reservations about that. And this is just a bad look for the front office, and I'm more specifically saying Craig Breslow. It's a bad look because a lot of people say, oh, well, it would have made more sense to potentially have Rafi take some ground balls over the course of spring training at first. Some people will also be on the other side of defending the front office, saying Rafael Devers is getting paid all this money. He should just play where they tell him to play. People were saying, oh, call up Roman Anthony, call up Mayer to play first base and put these guys out of position. Have one of the young guys just come up and just play first base. And then there's people coming after the Red Sox again saying that, oh, they're going to be stunting these young guys and stunting the development of their prospects by playing them out of position like that, which I feel like is not really the best argument. I think the only thing I would say about trying to put up one of those prospects at first base, well, like, if you want my honest answer, like, that just sounds like a dumb idea. But at the same time, it's not really stunting the growth. You just want them to get situated. And if you're just going to put him at first base as a short-term solution to a longer-term problem, that's not really the best route I would go. So the Red Sox are trying to manage through these injuries and manage over the course of the season using guys like Romy Gonzalez. Abraham Toro has been good. And honestly, I think it was just the point of making it a bigger deal than it was. And it really has resulted with the Red Sox being in fourth place in the AL East. And it's getting to the point where people are hyper-analyzing Alex Cora as a manager, how good of a job he's doing. Now, do I believe that the Red Sox's fortunes will change if somebody's let go or something drastic happens? I honestly don't know. But I think it's just the fact that it seems like there's a divide between the Red Sox as an organization. It doesn't seem like the Red Sox are the healthiest they can be, whether it's on or off the field. Well, obviously, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but it just does not help the situation when you just keep looking and seeing the news like, oh, Craig Breslow and Rafael Devers are having a rift, or the same thing could be said about Alex Cora. People can criticize how Alex Cora can go about managing a game, and it's funny because when Alex Cora had to miss a game or two this season, you have their bench coach step in and the Red Sox go undefeated, even though it was like a 2-game sample size. Lack of unity between the front office, or between the Red Sox as an organization, from the front office to the coaching staff to the players, the injuries and inconsistent pitching. The Red Sox are in the trenches right now, both figuratively and literally. And it's to the point that hopefully the Red Sox can find a way to fix some of these issues before it gets too late in the season. And not to mention, with trade deadline season coming in a couple of months, there's guys like Aroldis Chapman, there's guys like Jarren Duran that have already been appearing in trade rumors, as well as people calling into question the job security of Alex Cora or Craig Breslow. I think the Red Sox as a team are too talented still to be this bad. It just is a matter if the Red Sox as an organization want to see this team get better. But definitely the Red Sox are a team to look out for in terms of selling off pieces if this season's more or less a wash, which I still think it's kind of too early to tell. I guess we'll have a better idea when the All-Star break is here. But to end this video on a light note, I'm just happy that Rafael Devers has been able to be awesome at DH, and being able to watch guys like Garrett Crochet and Alex Bregman have been an absolute joy, and I'm very excited to see Crochet especially pitch for the Red Sox for the next 5+ years. But it's a whole lot of unknowns, it's a whole lot of frustration, and I'm right there with you Red Sox fans, because obviously we're anticipating this team to be competing for the division, and although it's still only early June and they still have plenty of time to get there, it's just at this moment in time it seems like it's so far away in terms of competing, in terms of playing in October. What should the Red Sox do? You guys tell me in the comments below, but that's going to do it for me, guys. If you guys did enjoy the video, like, share, subscribe, and make sure you guys check out VedaSportsMedia.com to stay up to date with all your favorite sports. But like always, guys, that's going to do it for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.